You think none of this makes sense? There is good news for you. It all does. You just have to understand the rules. Now, a couple of weeks ago, I went over all of Saul Alinsky's rules for radicals and how to thwart them. Now it's time to do a comprehensive review of Leffer's rules for radical politicians and bureaucrats. I know for some of you this is old hat, but let's go through it again. Repetition is the mother of learning here. Number 1, politics is a blood sport. Wear a cup. You can't go into a fight and say, don't kick me, don't hit me. You're going to be attacked, and if you can be attacked where you are most vulnerable, you will be. Number 2, the goal of this fight is to win at each stage or to put the football over the goal line. Once the football is safely in the end zone, it doesn't make any difference whether or not the entire process was fraught with lies and misrepresentations. Even if they come to the surface afterwards, the point has been scored. And points that have been scored, like Obamacare, are extremely difficult to reverse. Number 3, the key element of any warfare is deception, noise, and confusion. And it doesn't make any difference if the deception is exposed later on, as long as it served its purpose at the moment to block an election, prevent a bill, pass a bill, whatever it happens to be. That's it. Number 4, to quote Franklin Delano Roosevelt, if anything happens in politics, it was planned. When those few unanticipated black swan events occur, never letting a good crisis go to waste, you need to jockey it to your advantage. That was the idea of Rahm Emanuel's statement there. Number 5, the whole thing in jockeying is about manipulating public perception. Politicians rely on the public's short memory, the fact they believe the public is really stupid, the fanaticism of useful idiots, and the media's collusion to fail to remind people of what it was you said or did 24 months ago in exact opposition to what you're doing and saying right now. Which brings us to the next rule. Number 6, don't watch what politicians say, watch what it is they're doing. That tells you where they're headed. Number 7, this brings us to the next rule of the failure of consistency and the resulting of double standards. The issue is never the issue. The issue is always about the end game of an agenda or the downfall of an established order. You can lie, fib, mislead, and then reverse your position on the next issue as long as each issue moves you to the ultimate goal. Number 8, the rule of double standards. For every apparent double standard, underneath it lies a real standard. That's the true agenda being pursued, and they will consistently follow that agenda, which lets you predict what they will do at each turn and each sub-agenda to come. So how do you detect that? Number 9, if what is logical does not seem to be happening, another agenda is afoot than the one being given lip service. The real standards are always logical and consistently followed unless they wind up in internal contradictions. And once you're able to detect the real agendas, it's very easy to predict where everything will go, despite all of the noise and confusion, which is strictly for public consumption. So in saying that also, let's come to the last rules here, the 3 rules of any bureaucracy or politician. Number 1, give lip service to your public function or agency. Number 2, defend your agency at all costs, even at the cost of sacrificing your actual mission. And number 3, when caught in bad deed doing, defend yourself from accountability and offload blame. See? It all makes perfect sense. And once you understand those rules, go ahead, try it this week. Look back out at the political world, and you'll notice they're all functioning just fine. You don't have to be caught short like everybody else. We're at SteelOnSteel.com. I'm John Luffner. The program is Steel on Steel.